Many thanks for joining us here on News Desk. Let's start off with that very story about the teachers. And teachers across the country have served notice they will withdraw their services by the end of February if outstanding allowances due them are not paid. Now, in a letter addressed to the National Labour Commission, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, National Association of Graduate Teachers, and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers accused the Commission of flouting various deadlines agreed on for the payment of their allowances. Concerns raised by the associations include the non-payment of salary arrears to 2013 and 2014 batches of newly recruited teachers and teachers on promotion. The groups say if the concerns raised are not addressed by February 29th this year, all three teacher unions shall be compelled to withdraw their services. Rene Kwame is the chairman of the Greater Accra chapter of NAGRAT.
The issues that are bothering us, teachers have been recruited for 2012, 2013, 2014. Some receive 3 months salary, some receive nothing at all. And their issues are still, as we speak now, they need to receive their salary. We have another issue about transfer grants. We are of the view that our employers have the right to transfer us wherever our services are needed. And they are also compelled by our collective agreement that when you transfer such workers, you give them transfer grant to carry their belongings to their new station. Teachers have been transferred for several years and transfer and not paid. We have got something vehicle maintenance allowance where our employers give us some money to maintain the vehicles that we use to do our jobs, and those are in arrears. Our fourth issue last year was this collective agreement that expired, and we promised that by end of last year, this collective agreement, new one will be signed. But as we speak now, it has not been signed. So these are our 4 issues that we met on last Friday, and we sent a letter to Labour Commission that we intend going on strike by end of this month if these issues are not resolved. Because these are not new demands we are making. These are old issues. And there are several roadmap deadlines that this government keep on flouting. So we hope that this one will achieve some results. I think the problem is coming from Ministry of Finance. And if you read our letter, there was a committee set in place, and the chief director at Ministry of Finance, the head of that committee, to make sure that these issues be resolved by end of last year. The first deadline was 30th June. They were not able to pay us, and then the new deadline was end of December last year. Still, people they are yet to pay them. You see, it's just that you work for several years, 2 years, somewhere for even 3 years, and they pay them only 3 months. And they ask members to fill a form. According to them, they have a new policy that when they recruit you for a job, they pay you for only 3 months, and they have to go and verify whether you are a living being or you are a ghost before they pay you the rest of the salary. So they ask people to present some documents. Even with the unions, we're prepared to help them collect those data. We told our members, and they sent all those data to the Ministry to GS, and they forwarded to Ministry of Finance. And as we speak now, only God knows what's keeping them from paying the money to us. We are aware that it's not a new thing that you work for some number of years and they'll pay you only. Those they used to pay you everything in bulk, but now you say that you pay the first 3 months and later on verify whether the people are ghosts or living beings, on which we agree because they show us evidence to show some kind of fraud in the system. So we believe that they must do their internal work well and make sure that those people who are paying, they are living beings. So we agree. That's why we also agree that we agree that to them to allow people to bring the form to them as a way of checking those ghosts. So how long will it take you to verify those forms and pay them? And so you work for several years and they pay you only 3 months and you are now fighting for the rest of your money. How will you be confident? How will you feel good to teach in the classroom?
Likely implications of such a move at such a point in time. Now, we've been sampling some views from the streets of Accra, and here you are.
NAGRAT and some other teachers have served notice they will embark on a strike by the end of this month if government does not pay arrears owed them. Well, they are not happy that government planned to pay them last year, June 2015, but up until now, 2013 and 2014 batch of newly recruited teachers and even some who have been promoted have still not been paid. Well, what effect will such a strike have on teachers and even students? Well, we have been interacting with some students and teachers here at the Accra Newtown Experimental School.
I was posted that's last year, 2013, and then around December 2014, I was paid only the second promotion. After applying for upgrading, I was given only 3 months. And then we were there when they asked us to fill some forms that automatically the government will be paying that amount. But as at now, nothing has been done about it. And automatically, I'll be happy if NAGRAT will take that initiative, because I'm also a member of NAGRAT. So whatever steps that they take, I'll also follow. Where I was promoted to, the back arrears that they need to pay me, that's what has not been paid. I was only given 3 months of it.
And how much is remaining? Do you have the exact figure?
Automatically, it will be about 9 months. If, for instance, 120 Ghana cedis was even added to my salary as my descent, automatically they need to pay that 120 multiplied by 9. And it will be a lump sum of money.
What effect will your strike have on the children that you teach?
At times, if you can't eat your cake and have it, so automatically, if maybe it's a union, and if we are all embarking on it, we don't think about what the effect of the children. But I'm now not take the children in consideration, because if the government is not taking us into consideration, then automatically we have to also forget about children and fight for our cake.
And what do you demand right now?
My money should be paid. He gave me the promotion. I went for an interview and then I was due. So automatically, if I'm due, then what I need to take should be given to me.
Because like they don't pay the teachers. They will also find it difficult to teach us, because it's like you're working uselessly, like working without paying someone at something else. So I think the government should try as much as possible to pay the teachers.
How is it going to affect your learning?
Well, especially with the Form 3s, because I think even next week we'll be writing our first mock.
It creates a lot of noise in the school. Then the school will be surrounded with filthy. Then our learning will not go on well. So the government should be pleased with them. They should pay our teachers by the end of this month, so that our learning will go on.
The functionaries are going to write their BEC. So there will be effect on them if the teachers go on strike.
If your teacher doesn't come to class, how would that affect you?
Me, I'm not all that brilliant. So if they go to strike, I'll be, down.
Well, that was my colleague Michaela Rista-Anderson speaking to some pupils who apparently will be writing some exams in the next few months or so. But it's quite interesting some of the things you hear. But let me come into the studio now and speak to my colleague Raymond Akwa, who's been following this issue quite keenly, and he's been speaking to quite a number of people, including the labor unions and the teacher unions who are directly involved in this particular issue. So he's joining me now in studio with a lot more. So Raymond, good morning. Thanks for joining us. So you've been interacting with these unions, like I mentioned earlier. Well, I mean, what have you gathered so far?
So we know that officially the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, the National Labour Commission, have written to the 3 teacher unions that want to actually take up the issue and embark on their strike on this particular month. They are supposed to hold a meeting tomorrow to resolve the issue. What the teacher unions are saying, which they said in times past, is that it's not the first time they are holding such a meeting. Indeed, when they agreed on June 30th, it was a similar meeting that resolved in that particular agreement. Yeah. When they also agreed to push it to December, another meeting of the same grouping. But what's different is that they are getting the Minister of Education and the Minister of Finance in this meeting to make the direct commitment on when they are going to pay without fail. So ahead of this particular 2-week ultimatum given, there is this meeting that's supposed to happen tomorrow. Of course, prior to this, the unions had planned several engagements, which were supposed to be rolled out from tomorrow till the time that they embark on the strike proper. So that is what's happening now, and that's the latest on the teacher strike thing.
Oh, okay, so looking at it, that is to suggest that all the meetings they've had over the period, it's just been between Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and National Labour Commission, and then the teacher unions, without any representative from government directly.
It has been, but it's not comprehensive with all the people involved. This time around, the National Labour Commission is putting together everybody that matters, that can make commitment, that you don't have to later on write to now come and say there's no funds available later on. So this is what's happening different now. Everybody that matters will be on that table. We agree on what should be done immediately. If there's a new roadmap that has to be put in place, we actually follow that roadmap. And the consequences, if they fail to proceed with that particular roadmap or abide by the roadmap, would also be spelled out. So this is a resolution in all of its terms.
Are there any reasons given? I mean, speaking to these unions and these people, do they cite any reasons they are given by either government or the ministry as to why they've still not been paid?
They say that the very first understanding was that, I mean, we made commitments to you in June and also in December, but we didn't have enough funds to actually pay these people off. And we are talking about teachers in some large numbers who have not been paid for close to 2 years, accumulated 2 years. Even though we said we will spread it across a period, there wouldn't be enough funds to do so when we made the commitments. So when we get money, we can pay you. But that has not sat well with the teachers. They say that in 2015, since you agreed to pay us in June, it was only fair and proper that you put in that amount of money in your budgetary allocation when you went back for the review of the budget in September. Since you pushed it to December, we're expecting that you made allocations available for that particular payment too. But government still raises the questions of not having enough funds to do some of these things.
So if government doesn't really have the funds, what is this meeting going to do essentially? Because it might still boil down to money anyway.
So now, a flexible payment plan is what the main thinking is. A flexible payment plan that has monetary attachments to it. So if the Ministry of Education budget is this amount of money, we are devoting this quantity or this percentage to paying you. Now we are clear where the money is supposed to come from. We are clear there wouldn't be any excuse on where we cannot pay you or where we cannot pay you. But the first 3 months arrangement they had previously, they could only pay for the first tranche. And that's because there was that commitment on which percentage will be devoted to that amount of money given there. So that's some of the things we are told they are going to consider in tomorrow's meeting.
Okay. And it's tomorrow morning, I suppose?
Yes, we are told.
Tomorrow morning. Okay. Remember, many thanks for that particular update. And that was my colleague, Graham Odakwa, who, like I said, has been monitoring closely and has been interacting with all the parties involved in this particular problem that is on our hands, is our educational system. We've been trying to reach the National Labour Commission as well as the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. We've been unsuccessful so far, but trust us to bring you a lot more once we have it. You're watching News Desk here on the Joy News Channel Multi TV. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you a lot more stories. Stay with us.